In this video, we're going to be talking about DefenderShield. They're a great company that make a number of different products to protect you from the EMF produced by your various devices. I, like everyone, love my devices. My cell phone is always nearby, the laptop, the tablets, iPads, desktop computers, etc. But these devices that we use for media and communication come with a price, and that price is the exposure to EMFs, or electromagnetic frequencies. I'm not ready to give up my devices. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you're not, because you're using a device to watch me right now. So the question is, how can we mitigate some of the risks of using devices that emit EMFs and still enjoy them for their purpose? So I'm going to be talking about these great products made by DefenderShield and the different ways that we can use devices safely. Some ask, what's the big deal with EMFs? Why would you want to avoid them? Well, EMFs lead to oxidative stress, free radical damage, and even things like cancer. They also disrupt your hormones, and that ultimately can disrupt your mood. So EMF exposure, especially in close proximity, is just bad news, but thankfully there are ways that we can protect ourselves. So first, let's talk about laptops. When you use a laptop, such as the one inside this case, there's a number of different EMFs, or electromagnetic frequencies, that radiate from that device. There's electric frequencies, there are magnetic fields, and of course what's called RF, radio frequencies, which is radiation. Now, I love using my laptop. I use it all the time, but I do notice at various times that the bottom of the laptop will become hot. That's where the battery is. It's where a lot of the EMF is generated, as well as from the screen, in your face, and also on the keyboard. Now, in order for a laptop to be functional, we can't cover up the entire thing because we need to see and touch it. So there's a number of different steps you can take to make your laptop safer. The first recommendation, in my opinion, would be to get an external keyboard that plugs in via USB. DefenderShield happens to make one of these. In addition to a wired mouse, rather than using the trackpad, because when it comes to EMFs, proximity is the issue. So the farther you are away from it, whether it be your hands, your face, your chest, your body, the better. Now, in this demonstration, I'm just going to talk about the case and protecting yourself underneath the laptop. So this is the DefenderShield laptop case, which also serves as an EMF protection device. So just like any other case, we're going to keep our laptop inside of here. The only difference is this one actually has materials inside it that block all of the radiation emitted by the laptop. So when we open this up, this is how simple this is. It's crazy easy. I like technology that's easy to habituate. It's easy to integrate into your life. All I'm going to do is just keep this laptop on top of the case, and no radiation is going to come through the bottom of the case. And again, if I wanted to go next level, if I was going to be using the laptop for an extended period of time, I would plug in an external keyboard, so I'm not using the keyboard on top of the laptop, and an external mouse, so I'm not using the trackpad, because your hands are also exposed to EMFs while you're using the laptop. And you might have even noticed sometimes your hands will burn or get a little bit numb or sore. Your tendons and joints can get a little bit inflamed from using technology like this for extended periods of time. Now, if I'm just clicking away, looking at a couple websites for a few minutes, it's not a big deal. But if I was doing some long-form writing or something that requires me to really be glued to this computer, I'm going to use those external devices. But for our purposes today, when we're putting the laptop literally on our lap, the last thing we want is for these EMF fields to be radiating from the bottom of this device into our reproductive organs. I mean, just think about that. Other than your brain, your pelvic region is the, I would say, secondary area of your body that you want to protect from EMFs, especially if you're a male and you plan on having kids, or same for a female that has those plans, and especially if you're a female that happens to be pregnant at this time. You don't want radiation on this part of your body. And so this is the easiest, fastest way to protect yourself, by simply using one of these DefenderShield cases as the case that you use to travel with your laptop. snaps back in, and you're good to go. So to me, this is like the easiest and most obvious way to mitigate the risks involved in using a laptop. When it comes to the use of technology and devices, the cell phone is obviously the one that most of us use most of the time. So this, to me, is the most important aspect of EMF protection when it comes to things that get close to your body. Because remember, EMF exposure is all about proximity. So the closer we are to an EMF emitting device, the worse. And we're always quite close to our phone. So I'm going to make a number of different recommendations here beyond just the case that I'm going to be describing in terms of what we would call cell phone hygiene. I guess you could put it that way, or EMF hygiene, how we can use our cell phone safely. Now, if you read the fine print when you buy something like an iPhone, the recommendation from the FCC is that you keep that phone 30 feet from yourself when it's on. I mean, imagine that. That's the safe distance, is 30 feet. Okay, of course, no one does that. You'd have to have a really long earpiece in order to use your phone. But you definitely do not, in my humble opinion, based on many hours of research into scientific papers that support the idea that these EMF fields are really dangerous and deleterious to your health, that you never want to keep the cell phone on your body. There's times in which I'm out in public and I'll see a woman walking around a store and she's got her cell phone like strapped in her bra right over her heart, and it takes everything in me to not walk up to her and be like, oh my God, what are you doing? I see guys keeping them in their front pocket or back pocket or on their hip, or even some of the older gentlemen in one of those little holsters on the side of their belt, right? You know, think of the contractor that comes in your house, or someone that's a worker that uses their hands, they'll have their phone strapped there. And I'm always like, oh God, I do this emoji, like, God, if they only knew. If you get an EMF meter and measure the radio frequencies, the radiation emitting from a cell phone, it is off the charts anywhere near it. So you want this thing as far away as possible. Now, if you have to keep your cell phone next to you and on your body or in your purse or backpack or wherever you're carrying your cell phone, my recommendation is whenever possible to keep your phone on airplane mode. So that's the number one thing. If you have to keep it on your body, keep it in airplane mode. Turn the cellular data back on when you're going to use it. Another recommendation is that you don't need to have all three EMF emitting services on at once. This iPhone here, for example, if you drop down the menu, you have three options. You have an option for cellular data, which is that little airplane, that's airplane mode. And you'll see on this particular model of phone, which at this time is an iPhone 10, you'll see when the cellular data is on, you have a little green antenna icon there that indicates that cellular data is on. So if I'm out and about and I'm only using the cellular data coming from nearby cell towers, then that's the only thing that I need on. As you can see on my phone here, I've got cellular data on, Wi-Fi on, and Bluetooth. Why do I need Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on if my cell service is working? If I've got 4 bars, there's no need to have 3 types of radiation emitting from the phone. When it comes to the strength of the radiation coming from your phone, the worst of all is the cellular data. So when I'm at home, as I am now, I always keep my phone in airplane mode, turn the Bluetooth off because I don't need that unless I'm syncing with the device or trying to airdrop something or something that specifically requires Bluetooth, and I just keep my phone on Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi on my phone is the second least damaging radiation exposure when that's turned on. So that's something really important to know. And then also to make sure when you do put your phone on airplane mode and you don't want it to emit any EMF, that you're shutting down the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, and the cellular service. So there's 3 settings in the drop-down menu on an iPhone. Now I can't speak to Androids and other types of devices because I don't have one here and don't use one. So again, we're going to go into the upper right-hand corner of an iPhone. We're going to drop down that menu, and you can customize this menu to some degree, and then we're going to select which service we want to turn on. Now when you turn your phone on airplane and then turn it back on, it's going to activate all 3 of those EMF emitting services. Again, right now I only need one if I want to use this phone, and that's the Wi-Fi. But you can be guaranteed that if I'm out and about and I don't need to be receiving a notification for anything, I'm going to have all 3 of those services off. and the phone's going to be completely in airplane mode. Now let's say I'm out and about and I need to have that cellular data service on. I'm still going to disconnect the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth because I don't need that when I'm out running around. But let's say I'm expecting an important call or a notification from a text app or something like that. When I can't put my phone on airplane, I'm going to keep it in this DefenderShield case. And this is an amazing case. I'm really a big fan of this, and I'll explain why in a moment. One of the coolest things about this is that this side of the case where the back of your phone faces is magnetized. So it's really easy. See, it sticks on there really well. It's really easy to take your phone in and out of this case. Now, my phone just kind of lives in this case all of the time, unless I'm putting it in a tripod to live stream or something like that. So when you put it in the case, you just want to make sure that your camera aligns with the hole provided for the camera so that when you do photos and videos, the view isn't obscured. But once I put this phone inside the case, it's got a little magnet clasp that keeps it shut. Now this phone is completely protected on the front side. So if I'm using speakerphone, which I'll just kind of throw this in there too as another hot tip, you should never, ever, ever put a phone up to your head. Always use speakerphone, and ideally don't even touch the phone. So if I was on a phone call right here, there's no need for me to sit here and hold my phone, especially this close to my face. I'm speaking, as if I didn't have this case on. I could just set that on the table and be far enough away from it and still hear fine. The people on the other end can hear me fine. But you definitely don't want to be talking on the phone like this. And if you're someone that makes a habit of doing that, I would highly recommend that you reconsider that behavior. However, when you're using this case, 99% of the EMF produced by the front of your phone, so the radiation that's being emitted from your screen, is blocked on this side. So if you were somewhere really loud, like an airport, and you're trying to communicate with someone like an Uber driver, it would be permissible to put the phone to your head for a short period of time because there's no radiation coming off the face of it. There is, however, still radiation coming off the top, bottom, side, and back. That's why you would face the radiation emitting part of the phone away from you, and that's why the protective shielding is only on this side of this particular phone case. If it was protected on all sides, your phone wouldn't work, and it would be the equivalent of putting your phone in airplane mode. So when I first got this case, it was a little challenging because I wasn't used to the bulk. I'm used to more of a streamlined case that's just barely thicker or bigger than the actual phone itself. And I thought it was going to be difficult to use this case in which there is a wallet. And I was so used to carrying around a wallet and a phone, those are the three things you're always looking for, like your keys, your wallet, and your phone, that I quickly became accustomed to using this case and keeping the couple key credit cards in my ID and a little bit of cash in the side pocket here. And now I'm absolutely in love with this product because I don't have to carry a wallet. I'll keep my wallet in the car or somewhere nearby, a backpack or something like that, in case I need different credit cards or other documentation, such as a health insurance card or something like that. But I really only keep the vitals in here and a little bit of cash, and it's one-stop shop. Like when I'm out and about, I really only need this. And I found that it actually decreases the likelihood of me losing any one of those two things, my phone or my wallet, because they're both in one thing. So I always have my eye on where it is. So this case to me is just revolutionary. It's awesome. And I very quickly got used to the fact that it's a little bit bigger than some of the other cases that I was used to, because now I don't also have to carry a wallet. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you're someone who keeps your phone nearby your bed when you sleep because you're using it as an alarm clock or listening to music or some audio as you fall asleep, it's critical that you put your phone in airplane mode while you sleep. The last thing you want is this thing sitting next to your pillow on a nightstand all night long, sending and receiving data. That's a really bad time to get close EMF exposure, especially to your head. So you can either put your phone on airplane or put it in one of these DefenderShield cases, which is at least going to prevent the EMF from coming off the face of it. However, as I said, there still is plenty of EMF coming off the back and the sides so that it can still send and receive data. So my personal practice is just to go full airplane mode, everything turned off, close it in the case, put it on the nightstand. And another tip I can give you is that when you put it on the nightstand, get an external battery, one of those brick type batteries, so that you don't have to have the electric wire plugging in your phone also close to your head, which is a different type of EMF called an electric field. When you're sleeping is when your body goes into rest and digest and does the repair from all of the exposure to EMF and other toxins in your environment that you're experiencing all day long. So make sure that when you sleep, you're giving your body all of the resources it needs in order to restore and repair the damage done. So you don't want EMF exposure happening at all when you're supposed to be sleeping and resting. And those are a couple ways you can prevent that from happening. So that's the DefenderShield EMF blocking iPhone case. Remember, when it comes to EMF exposure, proximity is safety. So again, we want to be as far away from our cell phone when we're using it as possible. One of the things, as I mentioned, is using airplane mode so that you can keep the phone far away from, especially your face and your head, which are very vulnerable to electromagnetic fields, specifically radiation. You got to understand your skull is very thin. So think about a cell phone signal going through a brick wall into a building from a tower 5 miles away. Do you think that having that signal go through your skull is a good idea? No, definitely not. So we're going to keep our phone as far away from us as possible. And one of the best ways you can do that is by using a headset. And this headset by DefenderShield is really innovative and cool because it uses air to carry the sound to your ears rather than wires. So the wired portion of the cable is only about 2/3 of the distance, meaning there's only going to be radiation, electric fields, RF fields, or anything like that, up until this breaking point where they have a little limiter and the sound is then carried in these hollow tubes. So think of them rather than earbuds as airbuds. So we're going to put these in. There's also a microphone here which allows you not only to hear but also to speak. And now we can put our cell phone as far away as this cable allows and keep it even further away, which is one step safer even than using speakerphone. Now I don't have to have it in my hands and be radiating my hands. Don't have to have it anywhere on my body. It can be sitting on a table across the room and I can still hear and speak very clearly. So that is the EMF-safe earbuds from DefenderShield. Another really cool device in the DefenderShield product line is this EMF-proof fanny pack. This is really cool. It serves two purposes. It protects your body on all sides from being exposed to any EMF emitted from your phone, but also protects you from having your data stolen from people nearby that have scanners that can rip data off your phone. I know it sounds crazy, but that does exist, and it's really scary. In fact, this is how many celebrities end up having nude photos and such leaked, because while they're in an airport or somewhere, someone walks by them that has this technology that can scan. So this keeps all of your data protected, and it also keeps your body protected from EMF exposure. Now, I've got the DefenderShield case on my phone all the time, but let's just say you didn't have this case and you wanted to put your phone close to your body to have it nearby, and keep your phone in the fanny pack, zip it up, and you don't even need to put your phone on airplane mode because now it is sealed and is not producing any EMF. This is also a really cool case because it has a number of different pockets that are all protected. There's a front pocket, there's a little back pocket, and even on the inside, there are some mesh pockets to keep other stuff. So this is like a full-fledged, really sturdy, well-designed EMF-protected fanny pack for traveling with your phone and avoiding the radiation that your phone produces. Now let's talk about the EMF-proof cell phone case armband for you outdoor and fitness enthusiasts. Now, of course, I'm always carrying my iPhone in the DefenderShield cell phone case that blocks the EMF. However, if I want to get active and get squirrely, I can take the phone out of the case, put it in the DefenderShield armband, which is really well made. It's made out of neoprene, so it's very strong but also flexible and really comfortable. They did a really great job with this. So phone in, now can see the screen. There's even a little soft part here for a home button if you have that type of phone. We've put the phone inside the case, then we just run it up our arm, tighten it up if need be, if we're going to be doing some vigorous activity, and then either listen to whatever we're listening on speakerphone or plug our headset in here. Again, ideally using the EMF-proof headset so we can listen to our music, or in this case, the Life Stylist Podcast, hopefully, and be on your merry way. Now, another cool thing about this case is it also has some other secret compartments. So on the inside, you've got a little slot for your ID and a credit card, etc. So this can kind of replace the need for a wallet and a phone case while you're out and about. And on this side that's facing your body, you're completely protected from that EMF radiation. So this is a really good alternative for someone who's on the move and very active. So that is the current DefenderShield product line, so that you can use all of your devices freely and safely, protect yourself from EMF exposure while still allowing yourself the conveniences of staying connected.